KP's Kingdom, cooking with KP. Today I'm going to show you how to make my smothered pork steaks. You can also use this method to make smothered pork chops. Alright, really simple to do. Let's get on with it. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is make up my seasoned flour. Half a cup of all-purpose flour, go straight into a bowl just like that. 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm actually using sea salt flakes. Really nice flavour with those, really intense. Going to add in 1 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, and I'm also going to add in 1 teaspoon of Creole seasoning, or you could also use Old Bay seasoning if you wish. We're going to mix all of that together just like I'm doing right there, and this is going to basically make up our gravy and also a little bit of a protective barrier for our steaks. In a fry pan there, I'm just going to add in a little bit of duck fat. Yes, you can buy that from your supermarket. Okay, very simple to do. Just make sure you get that spread all around your pan. And I've got 1 brown onion which I have just sliced up just like that. No real rocket science. We're not going for a fine dice or anything. We want a bit of texture to that. Alright, so that can go straight into that hot duck fat. Now, when they go a little bit brown like this, hey, it's time to remove those. They've done their job. They've cooked off just where we want them. So I'm going to set those aside along with maybe a little bit of that duck fat, and we'll return those to the pan a little bit later on. Okay, now all we have to do now is get our little pork steaks. I'm going to add a little bit of butter to the pan first. Alright, knock that down, as well as a little bit more duck fat. Alright, so really rich, this particular recipe, but it is worth it, believe me. I'm just going to turn that off and put that aside, let it come back down to a room temperature while I get my pork steaks ready. So here I've got some nice little pork fillet steaks, or pork loin steaks. I'm just going to put these into our flour, and we want to coat these evenly all the way through with that beautiful seasoned flour that we just made. Really easy to do. So make sure you get every side and all the edges coated in that. It's really important, that particular little step. So I'm going to do around about 5 of these, and these taste really good the next day if you want them for a little bit of a lunch. Alright, so pan is back on. It's up to a nice medium heat, around about 60% throttle for a better word, and all we're simply going to do is put those little loin steaks straight into that oil. Alright, and if there's any little bits of onion or whatever in there, don't worry about that. Just keep cooking that through. It's all going to add flavour. Now I'm simply going to cook these for around about 6 minutes per side, okay, until they're sort of cooked through around about 70%. And as you can see, I haven't actually increased my heat by around about another percentage point, up to about 70%, and I've just dialed it up to 80%. We want to try and get a nice bit of char on these little steaks. Alright, so once we've gone through one side, we can give them a little bit of a flip like that, and you can see that beautiful brown colour. Now the flour is going to protect that surface a little bit, seal in all that beautiful juice and all that flavour. Now these are quite a lean particular steak. If you're doing chops, they will be a little bit thinner and you'll have a higher fat content. Chops probably do work a little bit better. I'm just showing you the technique on how to do this little American styled recipe. So we're just going to cook those through until we think we're around about right, and I'm thinking I'm getting pretty close, so I'm just going to remove those and put those aside on a plate until we get the rest of our little dish ready. Okay, now Mrs. KP in the meantime is boiling up some potatoes, and we're going to make a nice little mash. We're going to return that onion straight back in on top of any of that flour that is stuck, and we're going to hope that the onion juices are going to help deglaze a little bit. I'm going to add in a little bit more duck fat, right, just like that. Now, duck fat, incredibly intense flavors. It's a little bit healthier for you in a way than just using oil, but it is just the duck's guts. Pardon the pun. Alright, I'm going to add in that flour that we had, like that. As you can see, I've just added a little bit of water to that. So we're going to make up a little bit of a quick roux here, like that. Just keep stirring that through. Going to cook that flour out. Alright, so just wait for that flour to absorb all that oil, fat, and a little bit of water. Wow. If you haven't had a smothered pork chop before, a smothered pork steak before, you don't know what you're missing. It is fantastic. Here I've got a little bit of chicken stock, and we're just going to add a little bit by little bit. Keep stirring that through. Let it all absorb, or let all that little flour and onion absorb that liquid, and as it does, just keep adding a little bit more stock to that. Okay, and I'm actually using a salt reduced stock because we've already salted our flour. So just keep stirring that through, and before you know it, you're going to end up with the most beautiful gravy. So just keep that spoon moving around the pan. Just keep using that stock. I used around about 2 cups worth of stock for this particular recipe. Okay, so very simple. Keep going, and we're making up that beautiful sauce, and the smell coming off that pan is incredible. The little bit of Creole or Old Bay seasoning is really starting to permeate the air, and you can smell that black pepper as well. Oh, yum. Alright, what we're simply going to do now is return those little steaks back into the gravy, just like that. And all we're going to do now is just finish cooking those off for around about another 6 to 7 minutes in that gravy. Give them a little bit of a baste from time to time with that nice gravy that we've just made. You can turn them if you want to. It's up to you. And Mrs. KP has turned those potatoes into a beautiful whipped potato, the most creamiest potato you have ever had. If you don't know how to do that, there is a recipe on this channel on how to make the most perfect whipped potato. Okay, and it's all in the technique. Alright, so what we're simply going to do is cook those off. Look at the colour of that sauce. It has really richened up. It's gone really nice and dark brown. Get our potato, put that down on a plate. Mrs. KP is going to make it a little bit fancy and just smother it out like that. Make a nice little bed for our steaks, and all we have to simply do now is serve our little pork loin steaks with the gravy, and we're going to give that a little bit of a dressing with a little bit more of that gravy that we've made, and before you know it, you have just made your own smothered pork steaks. How easy was that? Okay, love to see you try and make this one at home. Thank you so much for watching this video, really do appreciate it. If you like this video, hit that like button, gives me confidence, should make you feel warm and fuzzy too. Don't forget to hit that notifications bell to be notified every time a new video goes up. Please share this video with all your friends on all platforms of social media. We're trying to get the name of KP's Kingdom out there. Leave a comment, I love reading and I love responding to them. But if you want to learn how to make a little bit of a Americana type dish just like this, well, you need to come and join the family, my family. Hit that subscribe button, you'll never miss another one of my videos again. I'm off to eat my smothered pork steaks, and I will catch you next time.